Welcome, everybody. Excited to get started. Just a couple formalities and disclaimers before we continue. This is going to be a pretty general webinar topic where we'll just be talking about lessons learned and things like that. But anything you hear on here, just for educational purposes, does not constitute legal or financial advice. But big thing today is we're going to go around and talk to Team Investream about a few core topics in 2025. But first, just as a general question, what was 2025 like for you? So in general, for your role in Investream, I just want to hear a couple, maybe some highlights or maybe a theme. Maybe it's tied to the word that you just shared in the chat. Um, yeah, who'd ever like to go first can go first.
Mine, 2025 is coming in new to the team in September. It's been really a lot of excitement, learning about InvestStream, the people they have there, what they're all about. And so it's been really great to be able to do that and meet and see how it works from the inside out. So a lot of excitement there, a lot of patience. That was Wes's word. I want everything now, so I have to remember to be patient, slow down, focus, and really take my time. So, but I'm excited about 2026 because it'll be a full year for me. But being here the kind of last of Q3 and all of Q4, it's been really exciting to see what InvestStream's doing and excited about it.
Amber, how about you?
2025. Whoa. Busy, very busy. Lots of growth. Uh, some growth I didn't expect. Some of it I did. I think that, yeah, busy, but in a great way. Very, lots of challenges and both healthy ones and some that maybe I wish I hadn't have had to deal with. But both in my personal life and with the company, I think that I'm leaving this year feeling pretty proud of myself. So I think that that's a cool thing.
Well, that's nice and sweet. Well, for me, 25 is based very much like 24. 24, when I started with InvestStream, I thought I was done with working, developing, buying, selling, making deals, talking to the network that I established many, many years. But it brought me to another phase of life, which is exciting because I always like to do this development and being in operation. But one thing I told Al is, I don't want to do in operations. I can do everything else you want me to do, but not to operate again because I had enough of it for 24 years. But it really kind of ignited me again to 25. 25 is I guess, gaining what we worked on 24 in identifying three major projects. Alhamdulillah, we were blessed to bring on board from starting with the Pioneer Business Park, the industrial warehouse flex space development, into the senior active council housing that we're working on, into acquiring and operating the Hefner Point Medical Center today, the building. So pretty much I feel good and satisfied that I delivered what I was asked to do. Now we need to kind of grow it and put it on the ground and kind of crystallize that vision and build it, which takes me into 2026. I really want to finish the Pioneer Business Parkway. We want to get the council, get in all them tractors and caterpillars and get you some of those photos like Melissa do. We can do that. And the more that we bring on, it gives us nothing but strength, credibility, motivation, empowerment into the future that we can do it to make our clients and our investors believe in us that we can do it. So I'm excited to move on and bring more development and more businesses and excitement and keep Amber busy.
This year, I definitely embraced learning and doing intentional shifts. That's why I think, yeah, my focus word should be intention. because I want to keep leaning towards that. I began to lean more into the things that I want and trust myself in the process. So a lot of things that I've been wanting to do for many years, and I just claimed I was too busy or prioritized other things. But this year, I really sat down with myself and asked myself what it is specifically that I want, and just told myself yes to everything. I got more involved with my community. I volunteered more. I prioritized travel and making new experiences, made more time for my creative art projects as well. All while like focusing on my energy on improving Investring's brand and brand recognition as it continues to grow. I got comfy with my role as a social media manager, and it was really satisfying to see certain connections happen in real time through my work. I also embraced and took on new responsibilities and learned a lot as well, um, with different things related to like HR and project management. I learned to get comfy with new tools like HubSpot and Monday. And I also challenged myself to do exactly what I asked the team to do, which is speak on camera, which I don't usually do, and I'm kind of usually nervous to do. But yeah, recording, getting that experience recording myself, I feel like helped me gain an understanding of what it is I'm asking the team to do and how to help them improve their confidence by improving mine. Um, yeah, we've also been working on improving content strategy and processes. And I feel like it's gonna lead us towards having a more efficient and stress-free year next year. So I'm looking forward to roll those out soon. Yeah.
Awesome. Sully, how about you?
I would say a lot of growth, mental toughness, and learning. I took on a new role with my day-to-day job here, but I took a lot of snippets from what you guys do in the processing and documenting at Investream, and I applied that to my day-to-day. So that was a great thing. Just processes and documentation. I now have a planner, which that was something that I haven't had in the past. So now I'm able to plan out my week on a day-to-day basis and really work smarter, not harder. So that was a big thing that I had applied. So it's been good for me, and hopefully I can carry that on into next year.
I love a good planner and a good list. That's like my favorite thing. I always find myself switching tactics though. Um, But for me this year, it was my focus here word was restore. And I spent a lot of time thinking about what are things that I can do to give myself energy to show up for the other things in my life. You know, like how can I resource myself and come back out feeling stronger and better and ready to hit the ground running. And Deja, like you, I mean, I thought about, okay, what are some creative things I could do to kind of get my, you know, get myself more well resourced. So I kept like writing. Last year, Al and I took a class where we were encouraged to do artist pages and write more like morning pages every day. And through that exercise, I was like, I'd really like to learn how to paint. I've never done that, and I'd really like to do that. And then in 2025, I was like, I'm going to find a teacher. I'm going to just see what happens. And in 2 days, I'll be doing my first art fair. So that to me feels like a really big accomplishment. And having that time to like go off and do a creative thing, I feel like energizes me for everything else. I feel like I think about marketing problems like more creatively because I'm flexing that muscle. I feel more well rested when I come back to it, even if I haven't like slept more. So that's really nice. Also got accepted into a PhD program, so that was kind of a big deal, I guess. So being well resourced is really important. That's been like my biggest theme. And then thinking about just making sure I have the right amount of time and space to get everything done, which is a topic for later, but I definitely see the parallels.
Beautiful, beautiful stories. I'm gonna steal some from all of you, I feel. I think my year was two halves. The first half was like the tree has been, well, there was a seed, and the seed has been watered, and that became a plant. And this year I feel like we're three and we're harvesting. And so it was a lot of like, are we getting to the finish line? Are we getting to those um, projects, seeing those exits, seeing the fruits of all the labor that was put in, building the team, building the company, building the relationships. So it was a lot of, um, I wouldn't say firefighting, it was just a lot of excitement around being super busy, like Amber said, extremely busy. I feel like everybody in the industry was, I wouldn't say everybody, but most of the reputable developers were on the sidelines. And this is kind of contrary to what everybody's doing. This is the busiest year for us to date. And so that was amazing. We did 4 deals. Many of them were in the first half of the year. We ended up doubling the team. Our partners are solid. The pipeline of deals is healthy. We're expanding. It just felt really like it was running, but it was like running in a nice marathon with different sceneries in a way. So it was really nice. And after the summer, I felt like I was just running too fast and doing too many things. And this is where I shifted to focus. And okay, now we have the wins and we have the projects and we have the team. And I wanted to slow down. It was like the opposite. So that was my focus. I wanted to slow down, take a step back. I started journaling. I'm definitely not doing a lot of work on Fridays and Saturdays that are firefighting, but more like forward thinking and getting out of that hamster wheel. And that's helping me a lot because now I'm journaling. I'm enjoying it. I'm reading more, and I'm now thinking about different things like you did, Sammy, more creatively. It's the same energy. I still sleep 5 hours a day, all that fun. But that's because I'm old. Don't be alarmed. But yeah, I'm thinking about writing my book now, and I'm thinking about what we're gonna do next, and launched my consulting business and building strategic relationships. The things that I would love to do is now happening and the business is still running and I'm enjoying both. So that's kind of half of it was running and getting the fruits off the tree and harvesting, and the other half was slow down and focus.
That's perfect. I feel like a lot of people talked about successes, which is wonderful, and accomplishments and achievements. I also want us to think about challenges and, um, every year's got its own unique set of challenges, that's for sure. So, reflecting on that, curious if you want to talk at all about how you navigated some of the difficult moments in your year.
I think something that I've learned a lot about myself, I probably knew it all along, but this last year has really exposed something about me that needed to be changed. And so I found that when I'm challenged with something or scared about something or unsure, that I tend to run from it or put my head in the sand, pretend like it's not there, ignore it, like, just these typical, you can fill in the blank. And so I think I believe that I have been challenged in ways this year where I have challenged myself to kind of fight that fear and lean into it a little bit and say, give myself a little pep talk and say, you can do this. You have all of the tools and equipment that you need to get this done. You have a wonderful team around you. You have a support system. You have tools in your tool chest. Stop doubting yourself. No one else is, and get it done. And so that has really been my focus for challenges this year, is to stop running away from them and start facing them, because almost every time I've surprised myself. There have been a few times where, I'm like, dang, I probably didn't handle that the right way. I hid from it instead of tackling it. But those are just, things to carry into next year to learn from. But Definitely battling the beast of a challenge as opposed to running from it is how I've dealt with it this year. So
Um, at the beginning of the year, I had to face a lot of just like operational challenges as a business owner. And it really forced me to pretty much like evolve and really like reach out to my community. So I learned to ask for help. I'm not a person that likes to ask for a lot of help. So navigating challenges really encouraged me to like go and really find answers among my community. And I really think that also navigating obstacles and challenges for me this year really just sharpened like my systems, my discipline. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely say I had a lot of challenges this year, but humbled me, it taught me a lot, and really sharpened my business mindset, I feel like, for 2025. So I'm excited for 2026. Any challenges that come up, I'm ready for the obstacle.
I navigated certain challenges like project delays by, swiftly prioritizing them, over communicating my needs. I realize it's a little difficult for me, but I've been trying not to be so scared of being scary or being annoying or thinking so much about what other people think in terms of getting the job done. Um, so I'm happy that certain challenges came about because I do feel like I learned from that experience. I don't like when things go unexpected. So to combat that, I'll definitely be planning more than ever and just asking for help, asking the team for more help because I know we have a really awesome team. And yes, it is okay to be bossy. It's uncomfy for me, but I'm leaning into my bossy side. I am. Also just practicing patience because I know it takes a certain understanding to do the work that I do, and not everyone really like fully grasps what it is that I do, all the components that make up what I do. So yes, practicing patience as well. It's important.
I can add on to that. By staying consistent and having a positive attitude. I think having a positive attitude will get you further in life than not having one. You can't teach somebody how to smile or if they're having a bad day, how to overcome that. Everybody has good and bad days, right? We all have our personal lives that we go through. But when you come in with a smile, somebody else might smile back at you, and he's like, "Oh, this guy's giving good energy," so you could feed off of that. And staying consistent. I mean, in the operation world that we live in, there's so many ups and downs, but I think the best way to navigate challenges is have great mentorship. And I've been blessed enough to have that in my life, from Al to my dad to DJ now, and my boss as well at my job. It's everything, really. They help you navigate, they put you in the right direction, and you learn so much from what they teach. You start teaching that to other people. And when you teach other people, it kind of refreshes you as well. So, um, I'd say the biggest thing really though is attitude. Just have a good attitude and keep it going.
I love what you said there, Sully, and I want to add to that because I agree in attitude. I think a big thing for me is I've had a few different challenges here this year, as everybody does, and I've had to. Well, what I've tried to do is see what the problem was, how I was the problem, what I was doing versus pointing the finger, looking, okay, well, you're doing this or you're doing that. What am I doing? What can I do different? How can I help? How can I add to the positive stream of life instead of the negative stream? And not to worry about things I can't control. And I think that's something I tend to do a lot. And I've got to realize that there are certain things that you just can't control, and they're going to end up how they end up. And the less time I spend worrying about that, the more time I can spend in a positive way somewhere else. And then the last thing is just reflecting. Is after I do something, I try to stop and think, and I have this like 24-hour rule to where I think about something, try to process it for 24 hours. And if I need to go back to it, don't be afraid to go back and say, hey, actually, I thought about this and I may do this a little bit different, or I would have done this or said this. And maybe that's stubbornness. Try not to be so stubborn and know that I can be wrong. Um, but I think there's a lot of great things we can learn from challenges and failures. You can't have success without that. And so there's definitely been some great things this year that I've learned, and I look forward to taking into 2026.
DJ, I really like what you said and what Sully said about kind of like having a positive attitude and, realizing that you can't control everything. I've been reflecting on that a lot lately, just how much calmer I approach situations, and not even just this year, but over like the past 3, 4 years that used to make me like really stressed out. Like, oh my gosh, like earlier this week, I got stuck in quite a bad snowstorm, and what would normally take 45 minutes took 2 hours. And I missed a movie that I wanted to go see and all this stuff. I was like, but I just turned on an audiobook I hadn't listened to in a while, and I was like, I'm just going to go really slow and I'm going to get home and I'll do something nice for myself once I get home and it's okay. Like I spent all day today like running around trying to get everything ready for the show, and I had to ask a lot of favors. Like, I need this last minute. What can you do? And like you were saying, Sully, I just approached it like I know that I'm being unreasonable and I'm asking a lot of you. And so literally anything you could do would be amazing. And they're like, we're going to help you. We're going to do, I'm like, thank you so much. And instead of just feeling like, so urgent and like not, oh, it's not going to work out, it's going to fall apart, it's like, well, what if it does work out, what if this is okay, what if there's another good thing to have happen, has really been a nice reframing that I've done for myself.
I mean, all of those good stories and challenges that each one of you went through, it all reminded my last 22, 24, 25 years memories back of building the seed or seeding the seed and growing the tree and dealing with the challenges that with establishing a business. I can relate to what Al said a while ago. When you're building a company, there's a lot of things that you have to deal with. And so it reminded me with all the challenges that we went through, myself with Investream, we had few challenges to do this and that. But I guess thankfully I'm kind of equipped with 22 years of trial and errors that paid time and money for it. There is routes and options that I can go to and find those answers. Back in those days, like everybody said, there's challenges that I don't know what the answer for. What is the solution? The most thing that all of you guys, with all due respect, when you pay money for your business, when you open a store and you have a lot of fires to deal with and a lot of changes coming in your face overnight that has to be resolved and find a resolution for it, you got to act quick and you got to think quick. So we have to act quick. I have to answer. I mean, I have to ask. I seek, like Deja, I guess you go ask other people, what is the solution? So I find older friends and other older franchisees. How did you handle this situation? What do you do? How can we do with this and that? So it taught me a lot, and the amount of stress you won't believe. You might think I'm exaggerate when you pay really money for a business and you have to succeed and you have to make it work. That stress is like exponential. But I seek resources. Sometimes I just take a walk outside around the store and just give those some minutes. Sometimes I used to go to the freezer and close the doors and yield myself out, just get it out, punch those cases of fries of things. Believe it or not, you can laugh. Just get it out on somebody that don't see you. So it gets it out of your system. Then you focus again, what I need to do. So you have to come up with solutions. Building networks, asking the others, asking veterans, seeking help, there's always an answer. And from those hefty, costly, painful experiences, what I learned is I go out and find a seminar somewhere or a webinar somewhere. We didn't have the Zoom then, by the way. So I have to go drive and be with somebody at a webinar, seminar, and listen to what they have. Is it related to what I'm looking for? hopefully I can get some answers and take that note with me and I go with it. A lot of them did. And that helped me in educating me and giving me some more knowledge to handle things better. So life is tough, but those lessons makes you better. It makes you stronger, definitely. You gotta be patient. And lately, I start learning everything's gonna be all right. At the end of the day, everything's gonna be all right. There's nothing beyond my control, DJ. As DJ said, at the end of the day, damn man, I've done everything. What else to be done? I just let it go, let God handle it, and whatever's meant to be sometimes is meant to be. Just deal with it. It's okay. Another good day ahead of us. Stay positive.
So Wes stole mine, so I'll just repeat quickly. I think the main thing, speaking of like challenges, I've dealt with a lot of challenges in my career. Starting actually, the first couple of years were probably tougher than last year, but this last year, because it's fast and furious, I had to learn to make faster decisions and making sure that I ask people around me quickly for their thoughts quickly and sift through what data points or facts will contribute to my decision. Because there's a lot of things that already happened that we don't have any control for it. And, I had this perfectionist in me, and we have checklists for everything, and we do the NASA launch and we count down. Everything should be perfect because we checked everything. And this list is well tested. And then 5 seconds into the launch, you have the first fault, the second one, the third one. And sometimes I feel like, why are you testing me that bad, God? Like it didn't need to be that hard. And what I learned is what Wes said. Sleep on it. I believe in sleeping on it. I'm practicing it more. Amber sees me in action where I'm like, I want to actually respond and intervene. And I say, you know what? I'll just give it 2, 3 days, not even 24 hours. I'll give it 2, 3 days. I know the decision is not critical if I actually let it go for 2, 3 days. That just tells me it's not critical, and then I move on. And then 3 days later, I'm like, you know what? Time solves everything. So make a decision faster where it matters, but actually don't process the information where it doesn't matter. That's the lesson learned that I took from this year is like there's a lot of information that is not relevant to decision making. So back to focus. Focus on the things that matters, make the decision that matters fast, and sort of ignore the noise, and time solves the things that are not in your control.
That sounds like an aha moment to me, Al. I feel like you were leading me right there almost, because that was my next question. I feel like we talked about challenges. I heard some insights in there, but I'm curious as you reflect on your year, if there was like an inciting moment that really set the tone for the year or caused a shift or something like that. I want to hear some of your aha moments.
I'll go because mine actually just happened. I had thought about this and I was like, I don't know. I'm not one of those people who's like really into an aha moment. I'm a huge self-reflector, so it kind of takes me a little bit of time. But yesterday I had a dear friend of mine tell me that I need to slow down. And I don't mean slow down like, yes, I move a million miles a minute and that's fine. I get stuff done and that's part of the reason that I'm good at what I do, right? But I mean slow down in those kind of almost what I was saying, like in those tough moments, instead of, like me firing off 17 Teams messages and getting worked up and I'm pretty good about keeping my emotions in check, but sometimes I need to just take a moment to slow down and process and more than me process, but allow other people to process what is corresponding between us. And it was interesting because at first I don't know that I was offended, but I was like, slow down. I don't need to slow down. Like, what? But I was taking a bath this morning and I replayed it. I find myself a lot if I'm replaying something, it's usually because my subconscious wants me to self-reflect. And so I kept replaying that comment. Amber, you just need to slow down. You need to slow down. And I thought about what it really meant to me. And I was like, holy cow, I need to slow down. I need to listen to people when they talk. I need to think about what I'm going to say before I respond. I need to let it sit on my heart if it's something that's challenging, or on my mind if it's something that's thought provoking. And I need to let the people around me be okay. I need to be okay with the people around me not being on the same gear as me all the time, and allowing them the chance to shift gears slowly if they need to get where I'm at, because a lot of times I'm here. So it was a huge aha moment for me. I didn't expect it. And it has kind of made me do a lot of thinking today about how I want to make real changes to apply that to my professional life, to my children, to my spouse, to my friends and family. So that was my aha moment for sure, for sure. And if anybody was wondering, it was Al that told me to slow down.
A
So,
little birdie told me to slow down.
yeah, exactly.
I kind of agree with all of what you said, Amber, on the slowing down and focus to get things done right and less errors and be more productive and to the point. But I challenge all of you, like I challenge myself as a leader, there's more responsibility on you. You're going to be the fastest one in the team because everybody will follow you as a leader, the way I've seen it. So when we were growing with those stores, everybody, well, my immediate family, especially my wife, slow down, slow down. Where are you going? Now we're going to Kansas. Where are you going to go next? Oh my God, this and that. What's going on? We have enough. Deal with it. One thing I feel good with, I ignored my family probably the first 3, 4 years of our growth, but thank God I didn't listen to them. I'm not the perfect one. I know everything. No, I don't know the answer. The motivation and the ambitious attitude and the grinding that was built in me, that I see it in a lot of people today, and I don't see it in a lot of people. My comment here is, as a leader, you have to be faster. You have to think more than the others. You have to look at things in a bigger picture on a higher level and take the beating, basically. Because when you do this, the better things, as you focus, the word focus is you bring other people to help you manage what you're doing. Thank God I did that, because there is one or two golden opportunity in your life, y'all. One or two golden opportunity comes in your life to get what you want to do and accomplish your dreams, the way I've seen life. So I'm glad that we went with that speed and that aggressiveness with some mistakes here and there. But then now I could not do it, even if I was go back 30 years back with the age, with the economy and the life and the challenges that we live in today. For example, inflation, we could not grow and afford all that new businesses, bring it on board with today's economy. Make sense? So I'm glad we got away with it. I am glad we got away with it. I am glad I got away that I went all over the States when I worked for American Airlines every weekend. I was telling to one of my nephews today, Zaidi, I said, I remember those days when I used to crave Chinese food, real authentic one. I used to fly Friday night to San Francisco, spend a couple of nights, come back on the red-eye flight Monday morning back to work. Right now, I couldn't do it. Not physically, not mentally. No, I have no desire to do that. But in your younger days, younger years, do the heck out of it, enjoy it. You get away with it.
I think, my thoughts are kind of right in the middle, so it's really interesting because I've been thinking a lot. One of my aha moments was kind of about well, somebody asked me like, "Well, what's your dream?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't thought about that." And being someone who tries to make other people's dreams come true, it's kind of hard when you don't spend time thinking about your own dreams and how you can make them happen. And there have been a couple things that have come up this year that have just presented themselves to me, and I'm like, if I say no to this, I'm, I'm out of my mind. Like I have to say yes because this might not come around again. I just have to see where it goes. I have to take it and see where it goes. And I also think I had to slow down enough to really think about what was important to me and like what I wanted to do and where I wanted to put my energy. Um, and I feel like I've spent a lot of years feeling like maybe my dreams weren't important. And I've spent a lot of time this year realizing that when I'm doing things that like really light me up, really energize me, really get me going, make me want to go fast. Those are the things that allow me to kind of show up in other ways as the best version of myself because I get excited about that. Yeah, put myself in positions to be lucky. Yeah. There's a lot of people in my corner who have really gone to bat for me and see where I'm going and see what my brain wants to do. And they're like, all right, let's see what you got. Like, show us. So yeah, in those moments you have to go fast because they could be gone tomorrow. But giving myself the time to slow down and reflect on that was how I got there. So Amber and Wes, like your reflections really made me think about that middle path I was
Do it
walking.
now.
Yeah.
Don't let it go.
Yeah.
What a great call this is. I mean, I feel like I need this every month. Just what everybody's saying and the wisdom that's being brought. There's a great group of people here. And I think a big aha moment for me, and I've heard this a few times on here, planting the seed. But in order for that seed to grow, I had to realize that you've got to nurture it. You have to water it. You have to feed it. And then as it grows, I think another thing that I didn't really realize and maybe was hard to realize is that at times you have to prune that tree, and there are certain spots that you have to take off so it can weather those storms, whether it's ice, it won't be weighed down too much, or I'm in Oklahoma, so tornadoes. And so just really taking care of yourself so that way you're in a position to where you can take care of others when needed is really important. And that was an aha moment for me.
For me, my favorite day of the entire year was the day that we did the team building exercise. We all got together and did like a painting session remotely. And I'm one of the few people on the team who's never met anyone on this call face to face. And it was our first time, well, my first time communicating with folks with no agenda, no time limit. And I learned a lot about the team. I saw some folks get goofy, saw some folks get frustrated. I saw little family members walking in the background. And I was just reminded, like, oh, we're all like actual people.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminds me to maintain like a positive attitude about the work we're doing, given that, there's always so much going on, and how important it is to carry the thing that's been going on. Just to slow down. We're all going through our own things in life. Um, and yeah, I appreciated that moment a lot. I hope we have more moments like that in the future because it really did put my professional dynamics into perspective and just makes me really appreciate all the work that we are able to get done even more. Oh my God, I would love karaoke. Don't play with me.
But we have to be in Houston to come to the karaoke bar.
I'll take the trip.
We'll go to Miami. What's wrong? What's wrong? We'll
I
go
can
to
do
Miami.
virtual karaoke. Don't give me a good
Yes,
challenge,
virtual
guys.
karaoke. I love it.
Here's a crazy idea on a cruise out of Miami.
Oh,
There you go.
oh, that's too creative now.
That's too creative, I know.
I have a
Fort
credit card, you
Lauderdale.
guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my aha moment is twofold. One is, I would say, that I was just listening to someone who I don't actually admire in leadership, but I mean, he's very accomplished. That's Elon Musk. And I watched a very short video of him, 30 seconds. And the question was, how do you start companies and grow them and go start another thing and grow it and start another thing and grow it? And you're successful at it. I think he didn't do a good job with the government, but that's a different topic. But
Very partly now.
but for him to do that consistently, there must be something that is working, right? So he summed it down in 4 points. And I used to always tell everybody around me that I believe in growth first, optimize second. And to Wes's point, you're not slow when it comes to grow. It's actually you're slow how you make decisions. It's different. But both are right. So I always believed in grow then optimize. And sort of going against my engineering background, going against the planner that I like to be before I do anything. And so he summed it up in 4 points. So he expanded it a little bit. So he said, you grow first, you eliminate second, eliminate the waste, what is not working. You optimize third, and then you automate. How many times we feel like something is semi-working and we're like, okay, let's document it and let's optimize it and let's automate it and let's build complexity around it. And maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. So that's my aha moment is how do you focus even more by doing less, eliminate the waste. He said 10%, eliminate 10% of waste every year. So that's my aha moment. Eliminate first, then document, then automate, which is brilliant. Um, One thing that I also sort of, it's almost like a reinforcement aha. I always had these over the years. In the GE days, I had two startups, and everybody told me to shut up. It's not going to work, and it works. And I go to the next one, and I go to the next one, and I feel like my process has been consistent. Every time I go to a different industry, I get challenged that it's not going to work, but it works. So my aha moment this year is like, even in real estate, yes, even in real estate. So my process is simple. Research well, spend time researching, spend money researching, lead what you believe in after you've researched, and stick to the plan. There's so many shining objects, there's so many opinions, there's so many niches, so many this and that. And I think that the right thing to do is, yes, don't go by just gut feeling, don't swing it, don't just keep trying. Trial and error is good maybe when you're in the middle of a problem, when you're in the middle of growth, when you're in the middle of a journey. But when you want to start a journey, don't trial and error. You don't have to like suffer. So research well, lead with conviction, and stick to the plan. So my aha moment was like, duh, idiot. Duh again, idiot, that kind of thing. So that was my aha moment.
Yeah, it's crazy that that you say that because I can relate to it so much because we started a brand new concept in Maine. And in the office, everything is like so easy. You're researching, you're digging in. Once we actually opened the first store and the second store, you realize things that didn't work and things that do work. So eliminate, like you said, it's like everything is clicking as you're saying it, which is why it's successful, which is why Elon Musk is so successful, right? Then you optimize, then automate. But that's something I can relate to you that you mentioned. That I'm actually taking notes as you speak. This is great advice. I'm gonna implement this.
Interesting you say that, Sully. I want to ask people about that kind of thing. Taking notes, collecting resources, having takeaways that you really enjoyed during the year. I have a slide for this, but we're going, we're almost at time, so I have to pare it down a little. What I want to know from everybody is give me a book, a podcast, an article, a quote, something like that that you would recommend to other folks. Like, what do you think people should be reading to or watching or listening to end the year, to start the year? what was really valuable to you?
Hi, everyone. I'm pretty new to Investream. I started back just a month ago. It's nice to see everyone here. Um, so there's a lot of conversation about kind of challenges throughout the year and all that. This was a very kind of pivotal year for me. I transitioned from kind of being a student. I graduated in May to becoming a professional. And kind of that transition, right? There's a lot of new things and all that. So I think the biggest lesson that I'm away from this year is to kind of get out of your comfort zone, and you have to like actively do. And I've been someone that's been, I would say, like, stay very in the comfort zone. Like this has been mentioned before, like kind of an engineering approach, sort of like very calculated maneuvers, and certain things need very specified a deterministic approach, but sometimes you really just have to just push on that, or get outside of your comfort zone. I think it's very, very important. There's a lot of changes for me. Like I'm a person that I don't really like change, I like things to kind of stay the same, but that kind of pushed me to pivot constantly, whether that's picking up tasks, change priorities, things like that. So I think adaptability was very, very big for me. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm taking away. And a quote is like, just you have to actively getting out of your comfort zone. That's something that has to be actively seeked, and I'm trying my best to do that. So
Rest assured, Abdullah and everybody else, when you get out of your comfort zone, you're being challenged. That means you are learning. You're gonna get better. Comfort zone will not teach you what you whenever you stay in the same comfort zone. Everybody hates changes, but changes always makes us better and stronger. My recommendation, what to read, what to do things, I always followed podcasts. I hope podcast was 20, 30 years ago because I'm more of an audio guy, not a reader. But I went or I used the podcast that relates to me in my industry, in my challenges. Because I have one brain, I can process so much. So I learned to focus on the things, back to focus on the things that matters to me to help my business to manage it, operate it better.
I spent a lot of time on the road, so I listened to a lot of podcasts and audibles. But going back to the challenging yourself, this a tool that I learned to use this year was AI. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm looking forward to leveling up in AI next year. And going back to the podcast, a podcast that I really recommend and I like, the Big Deal podcast by Cody Sanchez. So she talks a lot about unsexy businesses, laundromats, how she started, how she owned like window cleaning companies. She talks about plays. I listened to something about that the other day. Basically, just really leveling up in your finances, and leveling up in your business on how to scale. And that's what I look forward to doing, throughout my life is scaling so I can just have time and money, right? But another book that I recently started listening to was The Art of Letting Go. So sometimes, if you want to level up yourself, you have to sometimes maybe let go of certain, let's say, negative people in your life, or stop watching the news. Sometimes it's a little too negative, so we need to let it go. But yeah, that's my top right now. Cody Sanchez, the Big Deal podcast, and then a recent book that I really enjoyed was The Art of Letting Go.
I love that. I think one thing I have a saying, hungry tiger fights the hardest. And I recently read a book, Think and Grow Rich, and it talks about in there, I can't remember who it was, but they were drilling for gold. And they stopped. They came up empty and stopped and moved on and sold the site for next to nothing. And the next person came in and they hit gold just 3 feet further. They just needed to drill 3 more feet. And so kind of the moral of the story is, to keep pushing, even though it's tough. And I know that's been talked a lot about in here. Wes talked about that some, is you just got to kind of push through and know that you could just be 3 feet away from, your next yes or your next deal, whatever it may be. Don't give up, stay hungry, keep fighting.
Yeah, one thing I started implementing in my day to day is I do like a daily business review now, where I share with managers. So every day there's categories that I send, and I always started off with a motivational quote every day. So that helps me go out there and go find it. I motivate myself and read it, and then I'm sharing with others, right? And then from there, I always like to compliment people. Although I give criticism or feedback, obviously, because it's a business. Business is business, it's not personal. But just starting with a positivity quote or motivational quote. Like today, it was choose your heart. Being rich is hard, having money is hard, being poor is hard, being single is hard, being married is hard, having kids is hard, having no kids is hard. Like you have to choose your heart. So either you're gonna go through pain and suffer with or without it, right? So you might as well choose one. And I think that hit me good. That was very motivating. So it's keeping me consistent on a day to day where whether I like it or not, now it's expected every day. So it's pushing me to go in and actually do the research and pull the numbers and see if we're up or down and where we're lacking, where we're busiest, etc. So that's one of the things that I started implementing.
That's a good idea, Sully. I might do that in class. I might open with a quote with my students. I put in the chat, Deja mentioned Designing Your Life, which is a book that I read when Al and I took that class together last year. And I liked it so much, I brought it to class and I made my students read it. And it's been fun to have them reflect on the book and say, oh, when I hit this tough time, I went back to this exercise and it made me think about that. And I just put it in the chat. This is the next book I think I'm going to have them read in the spring, and it's called Slow Productivity. And I read that this fall, and it was great. It just made me kind of think about just because you're like echoing the idea of space as my focus word for 2026. Like, just because you're taking time, just because things feel a bit spacious and seem slow, it doesn't mean you're not working or moving or thinking. Like, your brain is always going in the background. And that's when you have like those good ideas, like the deep thinking and all of that. So, um, very highly recommend Slow Productivity. It was a great book.
Yeah, speaking of that, in our tradition, there's a word called baraka. And baraka is, I think the simplest translation for it is blessing, or multiples. So you can look at it blessings, if you will. And, it's the same concept of flow, same concept of like attracting the right things to come your way and projecting goodness and what does that, bring you back. And I truly believe in it. The course that Sam is talking about is the heart of design, is making sure that you do everything out of your heart, not your brain first. And kind of tying focus to it is like, the moment I want to do something, I start telling people about it. And the moment I start telling people about it, I attract the right people intentionally or subconsciously. And all of a sudden, you get that momentum. You become more resourceful. It feels like everything you're thinking about is happening in front of your eyes. And then that the blessings factors kicks in. It's like, okay, 1 plus 1 is supposed to be 2. And then all of a sudden it becomes 3. And then 3 becomes 10. And so that alignment of what you want to do coming out of the heart first, you believe in it, you demonstrate it, you attract the right people around you, and then you'll discover that matters a lot more than actually, 1 plus 1, and we should do this and we should do that.
I think, I know we're a little over, but I'd like to challenge everybody to share one word, if it's a focus word or not, um, if you haven't already, that you want to bring into 2026. Maybe it reflects the kind of energy you want to bring, something like that. What's the tone you're setting? Rapid fire here.
Growth.
Momentum.
Lots of growth coming, I think. Continued growth.
I really don't know if this makes sense, but an intentional fortune telling.
Ooh.
Learning.
Opportunity.
Deliver.
I'm going to say risk. I need to introduce more risk into 2026.
I'm gonna say signify just because.
Perfect. And everyone knows I've already said space a million times. But thanks for being here. Thanks for your participation, team. It was lovely. I think it's always important to reflect. I think it helps set a good tone for the new year to think, close the chapter, think about what the next book looks like. Maybe it's a literal book for some of us. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we need to do this more often.
Right?
100% agree.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy, for leading us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Great job.
Happy holidays, everyone. Good evening.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
all.
Care.
I'll see you in
you.
2026.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Bye.
Guys.